Thank you for the Altman Foundation and the Horace W. Goldsmith Foundation for helping make the PROJcast possible.
Welcome to our show. Join our flow. It's the 52nd Street PROJcast.
From the heart of Hell's Kitchen, this is the PROJcast, a podcast created by the community at the 52nd Street Project. We are a nonprofit in New York City that partners young people in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood with professional artists. I'm Garrett Kim, program director at the project, and a happy new year to one and all. We're excited to kick off the new decade with another episode of the PROJcast. First up for this episode, we have an interview from last year's radio making program between project members Sevan and professional hockey player Brett Howden. Radio making introduces project members to the art of telling stories through audio. The pieces were conceived, created, recorded, sound designed, and even performed by project members, with support from adult volunteers. I'll let Sevan take it from here. Enjoy!
In sports, you have to expect the unexpected. That's why I've always been interested in a player's mindset when the unexpected does hit. Like when an injury unexpectedly takes you out. For example, in 2014, Paul George suffered a compound fracture to his right leg, which required 9 months of time off and immediate surgery. Or when a hot streak unexpectedly hits, such as Jason Kidd when he was traded to the Suns, which improved their win total by 16 in just 1 year. Or when weather unexpectedly takes over a game, just like last year. In a game between the Mets and the Reds, multiple claps of thunder and heavy rain halted the game for over an hour and a half. What does go on in an athlete's head? And today, I'm finally going to figure it out. Today, we have 20-year-old center Brett Howden from out of Canada, who was traded from the Tampa Bay Lightning to the New York Rangers. And I'm ready to ask him all the hard-hitting questions about being traded and how it affected him mentally and physically. Brett is one of the most accomplished, young Canadian hockey players there is. He has won 2 gold medals, one coming in 2015 in the Ivan Hinkler Memorial Tournament, and the second one coming just last year in the World Juniors Ice Hockey Championships. He has also won 1 bronze medal, also coming in 2015 in the IIHF World Under-18 Championships. With all these accomplishments, Brett Howden was selected in the first round with the 27th overall pick by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And in his first professional AHL season, he was named number 7 out of the top 25 under 25 in both the AHL and the NHL.
Hello, Brett.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good.
First off, I would like to thank Brett for taking time out of his day and recovery process to join me for this interview. So the first question I have for you is, what was your first reaction to being traded?
I was pretty shocked, to be honest with you. I wasn't really expecting it. I think it was pretty much right as the deadline was coming to an end, and I really had no idea that I was going to be traded, so I was pretty much in shock, and I didn't really know what to think. But after talking to my parents and talking to my agent, we all felt it was a really good move for me, and in the end, it's probably the best thing that could happen to me so far. Playing in the NHL right now for the New York Rangers, so. It's probably one of the best things that could happen for me.
The next question is, where were you when you found out you were traded?
The funny thing is I was actually on the bus going to a different city when I was playing in junior. I was actually laying down sleeping. I had my headphones in, and my buddy behind me, in the seat behind me, started tapping me on the shoulder, and he showed me on Twitter that I'd been traded, and I had no idea. So it just goes to show how crazy social media is and how fast everything gets out.
It has to be one of the funniest and worst ways to find out you've been traded.
Yeah, it was different.
So who was the first person you told after you found out?
I called my dad right away because I really wasn't sure if it was true or not, and because I just seen it on social media. I hadn't been called by anyone, and then after I talked to my dad, I hung up the phone, and about 10 minutes later, I got a call from my general manager in Tampa Bay, and then my general manager for the New York Rangers now. So it all happened kind of within half an hour.
When you found out you were traded, what emotion hit you first?
It was a pretty crazy moment, especially because I wasn't expecting it. So I'd say I was shocked. I was pretty surprised to see it. I envisioned myself playing with the Tampa Bay Lightning one day and being a part of their organization, and not having any idea that I was even in the talk for being traded, and then having it happen just like that. It was pretty shocking, and I'm not holding anything against anyone for that. It's just the way it is. It's a business as well. So, I'd say I was shocked.
What was the hardest thing you had to adapt to?
Well, I think for me, I was put in a different situation because I wasn't playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So when I got traded, I really didn't have to go anywhere. I stayed playing with my junior team, and nothing really changed for me. It really didn't sink in until I went to development camp in the summer, and I got all my New York Rangers gear and met all the staff and everyone. So it really didn't happen for me to have it sink in until middle of summer, and then come around to September when camp started. That's when I really felt like I started adapting and started, feeling more comfortable and sort of that I kind of belonged here. So it was pretty drastic change for me.
Also coming up on a year since you've been traded?
Yeah. I think it was right around now. Yeah, I think the deadline
in about a week.
Yeah, in about a week. I think you're right. So, pretty much a year.
Is it harder to perform in front of a different fan base?
No, I don't think it's harder. I think it's awesome playing here at the Madison Square Garden. Having a fan base that the Rangers have is honestly, it's incredible. There's fans all over that are diehard fans for the Rangers, and every away game that we go to and we go out for warm up, we have majority of the time we have more fans than the home team's fans for warm up, surrounding the glass with signs and jerseys and everything like that. So. It's definitely really special to be able to play here.
Puts it in front. That one deflected away. Spooner gets it back to the point from McQuaid. Winds, fires, stop. Scramble for the rebound and score! Brett Howden on the rebound gets his first National Hockey League goal and cuts the deficit.
What was your first reaction into first walking into MSG?
That was pretty amazing. First time I got to walk in there was no ice in there because it was the summer. So I got to walk in there and see the building and see the dressing rooms and pretty much just check everything out for the first time. And then the first time I actually got to skate in there was at main camp, which was in September. So that's when it kind of really hit me how cool the building was, to be able to see the ice, to see everything lit up, the lights, the roof. It's a really special building, and it's a very unique one.
Did you ever envision yourself playing as a member of the New York Rangers?
No, I mean, I like I said, I was drafted by Tampa Bay, and I envisioned myself, playing with that team and growing with that organization, and that's really all I had my mindset on, and because I didn't really have, me being traded come across my mind. So when I did get traded, everyone told me that, the best organization that you can go to is the Rangers. So that made me feel a lot more comfortable coming to this organization and just hearing all the positive things from everyone around.
What is the hardest thing that fans don't know about being traded?
Well, like I said, I think for me it's a bit of a different situation. I was never traded in junior, so I never really had to make the transfer from team to team during the year. So it's a little tough to say. I mean, obviously I had to meet a bunch of new people, which is awesome. You get to meet new faces, and I still have great friends in the Tampa Bay organization. But I think that I had a roommate in junior actually that was traded. We were living together, and he was traded during the year, and he had to move teams. So I talked to him a little bit, and I think the hardest thing is just trying to feel comfortable right away, because you're not really in your comfort zone, so you're meeting a ton of new people and kind of leaving a part behind you, because we spent together for 3 years in Moose Jaw. So obviously I don't know what he went through exactly, but just from talking to him, he just said it was a little difficult at the start, but it depends what kind of team you're on, and he had a good team to go to with a lot of good people, so they really helped him feel comfortable.
Do players ever read about themselves when it's near the trade deadline, or do they try to avoid it?
I guess everybody's different in their own ways. I can't speak for everyone else, but for me, I try to stay off social media. I don't have, I deleted Twitter, and I don't have my Instagram account, so I try to stay away from all that and not try to get caught up in any of it. And obviously you're going to see stuff when you're watching highlights in the morning on the TV, or just hearing things around, just rumors and stuff. But like I said, for me, I just try to stay away from all that.
If you had the chance to relive the day you got traded, would you?
I don't know. It was a pretty weird day. Probably not, because I was really, it was a lot of emotions that day. It was a long day for me. I really didn't know what to think when it first happened. It took me a couple days to kind of settle in and understand what was kind of going on, and finally talking to some other guys and some people that I know with both organizations to kind of help the move make it easier for me. So I probably wouldn't go back to that day, but I'll never forget that day.
From a young age, coaches believe that Brett Howden could be one of the best there is. For instance, scouts say that he is a strong two-way player with great skating ability and a strong hockey IQ. So, Raw Charge writers said that you are a very skilled two-way center who was the most talented center prospect that was in the Lightning's pipeline. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. They have a lot of good players there. It's a really deep team that they have. Obviously, the team they have in the NHL is doing really well, and like I said, they're deep, but they're also they have a lot of depth with their prospects in Syracuse. They've done really well drafting, and I got a couple buddies, that play for both teams on the Lightning and in Syracuse on their AHL team. So I think there's definitely a lot of good players part of that organization, and that's something I probably don't really want to answer just because there's so many good players.
It's easy to forget that sometimes our favorite athletes are also real people. For instance, Brett Howden's nickname is Howdy, and at a very young age, he self-taught himself guitar. He also has 3 dogs, named Marley, Oliver, and Baxter. I know you have 3 dogs. How hard was it for them to adapt to the trade?
My dogs?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have my dogs with me. they're my family's dogs, so they're back at home in Winnipeg. So they didn't have to go through anything, luckily, because I didn't have to bring them with me, but it's always fun to go home and see them in the summertime.
Jeff Gordon, the general manager of the New York Rangers, stated that you are a center, that they have converted for a while, that you're a big guy, you're rangy, you're a good skater, that he likes your upside and you have skill and also has character. We like that he plays against better players that can check and do a lot of different things. Did he tell you this, or did he just tell this to the media?
Me and Jeff, we talked a couple times after I was traded, and he, maybe not word for word that, but he told me why they traded for me and the whole situation and what they were excited for. So, in a sense, he did, but I think that stuff he said to the media was kind of directed towards them, and but he made me feel really comfortable coming into camp with the Rangers.
Brett is originally from Oakbank, Manitoba, which is a small town in Canada. But just because you're from a small town doesn't mean you don't have big time abilities.
So you're originally from Canada, is that right?
Yes.
How hard was it to adjust from Canada to the States?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me was where I lived in Canada it's a small town just outside of Winnipeg. So I think there was two parts of it. A quiet small town, and then coming to a big city where there's so much energy and all the tall buildings and just how busy the city is in general. It's one of the coolest cities I've ever been to, and it's good for me because I'm starting to know my way around a lot better. I feel a lot more comfortable here, so I couldn't ask for anything more. It's been unreal here.
Do you ever see yourself playing as a Winnipeg Jet?
Well, as of right now, no, just because I see my future with the New York Rangers. So obviously I said the same thing about Tampa. I see myself playing with them in the future, but things change, so you never know what can happen. And if that does happen one day, obviously that'd be pretty cool to play in your hometown, as every guy that plays thinks that would be pretty special. So we'll just wait and see how everything lays out in the long-term future.
So as Ranger fans might know, you do have a current MCL sprain. How is that recovery process going?
It's been going good. It's never fun to be injured, and it's never fun to be apart from your teammates. I feel like I'm on different schedules than they are, so I'm not really around them much. And when they go on the road, I'm staying back here, making sure I'm getting my rehab in. So it's been a little tough mentally, but I've come a long way in the last couple of weeks, and still working hard to get back practicing with the team and then eventually playing.
As of Thursday, February 21st, Brett was placed on the injury reserve as he continues to rehab from his knee injury, thus creating a roster spot for another player.
If you get traded again, would you expect it coming?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think any player expects to get traded unless there's certain situations where some players might, but for me right now, I don't expect it at all, so I wouldn't see that coming if it were to happen again, but obviously things change in the future and there's different situations for everyone, so it's kind of a different situation, like I said, for everyone, but for me right now, no.
What is your favorite thing about New York?
Well, obviously the Ranger fans are so supportive. It's honestly incredible. Every night we're getting so many people to the games and so much support. So I think that's one of my favorite parts of the city, is that just everybody is all about the Rangers and the Knicks and supporting us both. So that's really special. But just being part of the city, it's crazy. It's one of the coolest cities in the world. Like I said, it's pretty special to be able to be a part of it and live here.
How excited were you when you won your 2 gold medals?
Yeah, it was really special. Winning the World Juniors was probably my favorite hockey moment to this day, and probably my biggest accomplishment I've had too. It's a special tournament that I know for me, a lot of people that I know, watch, especially all across Canada. They watch every Christmas time. So yeah, it was really special. It was a really cool achievement.
Howden, Strider, and Zuccarello shot. They score! Brett Howden gets the goal.
Sam, it was a fabulous goal. I mean, this is a fabulous goal. He ended up backhanding this through his legs, through the goaltender to tie.
In your mindset, who do you think is a better hockey player, you or your brother?
So that's a tough question because we both got different. We both have different qualities to our game. I think both of us feel the same way, that we both wish that we could have some qualities that the other has. He's such a fast skater. He plays the game so fast, and he's a smart player. And, he's a guy that you want to have on your team. So I wish I could have lots of his attributes that he has. I think I mean, growing up, I always looked up to him and tried to play exactly how he did, but obviously that turned out a bit different, as we're all our own person, and me and him are different players, but he's got a lot of special qualities that I wish I could have.
When your contract does end with the Rangers, do you have any plans on re-signing with them?
Well, that's a couple of years down the road, but obviously that's what I want to see my future as. Obviously, there's been no talks yet, just because I'm in my first year professionally still. First year with the team. I still have 2 years left on my contract, so no talk yet, but hopefully eventually down the road when it comes time, I hope I can sign back here.
So this will be the final question. Which team has had the better fan base, the New York Rangers or the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Well, both teams got a good fan base for sure. Tampa Bay, they have a really good fan base as well. They get a lot of support. It's pretty cool to see a team out there, where they play, obviously, where hockey's probably not the most popular thing there. It's pretty cool to see the support that they get. But then you come to a place like New York, an original 6 team, a city like New York as well. It's crazy the amount of fans we have and the amount of support. Every night we play, even going to practices and seeing the support we have there, and then going on the road and playing games. There's fans all over the place for the Rangers. So both teams have a really good fan base, and it's really cool to see that.
Since that was the last question, I would like to thank you again for taking time out of your busy day to join me, and hope that recovery doesn't take too long, because I and the rest of the Rangers fan base would love to see you back on the ice again real soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me on, bud.
You too.
It's really fun to be a part of it.
That was Sevan interviewing Brett Howden. Thank you to Chris Wendelken for working with Sevan on this radio story, and thank you to Danny Ursetti for composing the original music you heard. To wrap things up for this episode, we're going to listen to a song from our 2018 songmaking concert, Songs of Hell's Kitchen. Project member Amari wrote a song about standing up for yourself and going after what you want, no matter what. With music by Sean P. Pallatroni and performed by Marina Kondo, here's Amari's song, Put Up a Fight.
The way you treat me, you don't let me go out. No sweets, no playing. I wanted to play with Andy, and you said no. I want to live my life that the other kids do. I want to start adventures and eat some sweets. I was born of the living. If I can't stand on my own 2 feet, I want to experience my life. What's the point of the living if you don't put up a fight? So I'm gonna put up a fight. Wanna express myself in my shirts and clothes. I wanna wear my own style.
That was Amari's song, Put Up a Fight, with music by Sean P. Pallatroni and sung by Marina Kondo. Amari will be performing alongside 7 other Project teens in our upcoming show, Elephant in the Room, Plays You Can't Ignore, on January 24th, 25th, and 26th at our very own Five Angels Theater. As always, the show is absolutely free for the public to enjoy. Head to 52project.org to reserve your tickets. And now, for the credits. The project members featured in this episode were Sevan and Amari. The volunteers featured in this episode were Chris Wendelken, Danny Ursetti, Marina Kondo, and Sean P. Pallatroni. The PROJcast theme song was created by Justin and his smart partner Eric March and performed by Miranda Anderson, Rebecca, and Nicole. The PROJcast logo was created by Iris Brown. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search the 52nd Street Project and look for 5e and 2e on our logo. The 52nd Street Project is supported by public funds from New York City's Department of Cultural Affairs and the New York State Council on the Arts. The 52nd Street Project is a non-profit, and we're able to make this podcast and do the work that we do thanks to generous folks like you. If you'd like to support us, please go to 52project.org. Every little bit helps. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great start to the decade, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for another episode of The PROJcast.
See you next month.
Wait,
Nothing rhymes with month. On the 52nd Street PROJcast.